We're going to start making something. That thing's heavy. I like to do things I've never done before. Yes, I've made mango Italian ice before, but I've never done it with fresh mango fruit. I like to use fresh frozen fruit. Here is Dole mango chunks. I bought this at the local supermarket. It's in the ice cream section. If mango only has a season that it's, fresh, and so what they do is they pick all the mango, they cut it up, and they bag it and freeze it, so that no matter how far out of season you are, you can still make a fresh mango. So fresh frozen is actually better than fresh, because I can extend the time period to year round, where I can't do that. If blueberries are only in season in Michigan, in June, that's not going to help me in December. And the things coming up from foreign countries where it's summertime and below the equator, they're just not the same quality, and the price is quite high. One thing you want in the frozen dessert business, or any business, is consistency. I think we'd all agree that McDonald's is a miserable hamburger, but it's consistently miserable. Whether you buy it in Tampa, Florida, or in St. Petersburg, Moscow, or St. Petersburg, Russia, or in Sri Lanka, when you walk through the Golden Arches, you know what you're going to get. That Big Mac is going to taste the same no matter where you are. And we want to have the mango to be the same in October as it was in June, as it'll be in February. We want the consistency. Now, I just got this Ninja. Everybody's been raving about them. I've never played with one before, so Jeff's going to help me, because we got to grind up a lot of stuff here. Just pour it in, Jeff.
Just pour it in, Jeff.
How many bags at a time? How many bags should I put in?
How much you making? How
4?
much water or mix you using?
1, 2, 5 bags.
I say throw it in.
Really? That thing is this good?
What, the Ninja?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you put a little liquid in with it, it'll help.
All right, so what do we got?
We'll put in a little mango liquid.
Okay, we're going to put in a little mango base from iRice. You don't have to do it this way, but you can. We're also going to need water for the formula.
I got it.
Okay. Let's start out by sending. Here's the agenda of what we think we're going to do today. You'll pass those around. And here's the formula for the mango sorbet. We'll pass this around. If you go to emerythompson.com, you'll not only in a few days be able to see what we did here, but under recipes at the top are all my recipes. And if you want to watch Jeff cringe, just listen to this comment, Jeff. If you don't buy my machine, at least use my formulas. I've been making ice cream for 43 years, and I make the best ice cream in the world. It's not quite true. Jeff's been doing
edit that out for the.
I had to get it out there for the the video, but Jeff makes far better ice cream. Okay. Look at that.
Pretty amazing.
That is amazing. Whoever thought of putting 4 blades instead of 1?
6 instead of 1.
6. So can I pour that right in the machine?
You can.
All right.
You want the water and sugar mixed, right?
Yes. So I'm going to just turn this on slow. This is the infinite overrun, which we'll be going over today. Wow, that does that fast.
And I'm going to make some more up, just in case when we taste it, we want a little more mango.
Well, I need all this.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay. Don't be afraid to experiment, but when you do, write down what you did, because if you make 4 batches of this and finally on the 3rd batch it's just the way you want it, you go, oh, this is fantastic. What did I do? You'll forget. So write down each batch, call it number 1, call it number 4, label it so you can go back and taste test it and decide.
Hey, try it.
Okay, so you line up the arrows.
Right. Close
Press
that, put
lock.
the power on.
Yeah.
And then just go to 1. And you're done.
Amazing. Now, I used to put these in a big vat and take my socks off and squish them. But
That's why your mango ice was so good.
yeah. Ooh. Okay. Hey, Jeff,
Yes?
the blade came with it.
Oh, yeah, hold the blade before you...
Roger that. A little too late. Okay. A little lemon in this formula just makes the flavor pop. And so this is our sugar and water.
And a few pits.
With the pits. How do you know it's lemon if you don't have the pits? Jeff and I don't agree on this. He buys top-of-the-line Domino sugar. I buy the cheapest stuff I can find at the supermarket. Sugar is sugar.
No.
There is no difference whatever.
Oh, yes.
The Domino doesn't clump, but I have a solution for clumping sugar. There you go. It's not clumped. So a little nuance between the two of us.
Actually, I found out why Domino's or good sugar is better than bad sugar.
Why?
It's finer.
Okay. But it's still going to dissolve. Now, he didn't do a very good job of dissolving this, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn this on for a second and let it spin and mix, and then I'll draw a little bit out, put it back in my container, swirl it, and put it back
When
in.
you pour stuff down your sink, use a sieve so that all this doesn't go down your drain and cause you to have to call a plumber and then some more money. And
Oh, tell me about it. I made Trump Nuts ice cream the other day with grape nuts, and oh, it's great. I'll give
What
you
was the name of
formula.
that flavor?
Trump Nuts ice cream. And then I have Trump Nuts breakfast, which is it's decaf coffee ice cream with grape nuts and golden raisins.
and
It's
it talks
fantastic.
back to you. And it talks back to you.
Yes. Yes, it takes the gloves off and fights with you. Okay, so is everything in here, Jeff, that you know of?
According to your sheet of paper,
All right, then we'll give it a try. Now, since this is just sugar and water and flavor, air content is really not a factor. You need dairy to be worried about air content. Yes, it'll expand a little bit. If you had a boat in Michigan, a wood boat, and you left it out on the lake and the lake freezes, your boat's going to get crushed because water expands without any agitation. Water expands about 17%. So we're not going to get much of a increase in expansion or, say, overrun in this. So you're going to run at a fairly high speed. So I just pick Italian ice for this. Start it. Now it's spinning. Now I'm going to turn on my refrigeration. And I'm going to set a watch so that I know how long I'm going to freeze this for. Any questions so far?
yes, I have one.
Okay.
Why don't you put something under the spout so you don't have a mess there?
Because I don't spill. All right. Thank you.
And
See?
hold that and leave it there.
Well, it doesn't leak.
Well, when you pour stuff out, it'll slop over.
Okay. How about a real question? Anyone have a real question? So this is just sugar, water, and flavor. This is the most expensive way of making Italian ice, and I would say it would cost you about 8 cents for a 4-ounce portion. So you've got a product, 4 ounces, by the way, quarter
Did you
pound.
add this?
Not
Or-
to this one.
Okay, why is this here?
That's for something later.
Okay, we'll put it up here.
Yeah. 8 ounces. Here's a 3.5 ounce squeeze cup. This is the way we eat it in New York. So when you crown this over, it's 4 ounces. I can get a minimum of $2 for this, probably higher. And it's costing me 8 cents. You could buy 100 of these cups for 8 cents. So you've got an incredibly inexpensive product. The way we eat this in New York, we don't use a spoon. We squeeze it up from the bottom and eat it like that, and then throw it on the street. The same product, later on, this is an Italian ice. Later you're going to see me make a sorbet. The difference between an Italian ice and a sorbet is I can get $2 for this, I can get $6 for this. Otherwise, it's the same ingredients. There's no difference. And then when I make a cream ice for you later, it'll be the ingredients you saw, sugar, water, and flavor, but I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream or dairy mix into the blend. And so now my cost is maybe 8.5 cents for this 4-ounce portion. It's the cheapest stuff you can possibly sell.
Least expensive.
Least expensive. Okay, we're going to be politically correct. And why do you want to do it? I know you're planning to be a gelateria or an ice cream parlor or sell popsicles or something else, but why do you want Italian ice? Because in the summertime, no matter where you are, it's hot. It's really hot, and here in Florida, it's incredibly humid. Well, the combination of hot and humid, if you sit down and eat ice cream made on our machines, Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry, that high fat and that density is going to make you sweat. It's going to give you a stomach. That's why in the old days there used to be a water fountain in an ice cream parlor, because dairy products make you thirsty. So here you are, you're down in Central Florida, and you're eating a high-fat or any dairy product, and it's making you sweat and you drink water. That's not a comfortable feeling. But when you eat sugar, water, and flavor, then you are cooling off from the inside. If you're at a football game, they're not pouring 5 gallons of milk over your head. They're pouring Gatorade. It's a refreshing product. So that's and it complements what you're selling. It's not going to take away from ice cream sales. I think, Jeff, you're doing ices, aren't you?
Cream ice.
Cream ices. Jeff was at first resident. That's a fancy way of saying he thought I was full of it. That's the why would I sell Italian ice for $2 when I can sell ice cream for $7? Well, he's found out that they do complement each other. Not everybody wants ice cream, so now you've got a great alternative, fat-free, dairy-free. That's my wife, by the way, Paula Thompson, and Paula runs the office and everything else. I'm the figurehead. She runs the company. Excuse me? Yes, and you buy the soda. So it's a wonderful, wonderful product to have because it is so refreshing. Except in Florida and some of the other southern states, it's seasonal. May 1st to Columbus Day. And then after Columbus Day, everybody figures, oh, well, winter's coming. I've got to go up into the attic and get out my sweaters, prepare for the blizzards. I can't possibly eat Italian ice. And so the market just falls completely off. If you're in a warm climate like Florida, I used to be one of them. Now I laugh at them. The tourists come down in January. It's 57 degrees, and they're running around in bathing suits, drinking margaritas, and eating Italian ice. Because it's 10 degrees in New York, and they left New York to come on vacation and act like it's summer. Well, nothing says summer like Italian ice, so we can sell Italian ice all winter long down here, or in different hot climates in the world. Another good example was in Bermuda. Let me just check this. In Bermuda attracts extremely wealthy tourists. It's an expensive island. That's going to need a little bit longer. A very expensive island. So there's the undertaker there owns 2 ice cream parlors as well. He's got you coming and going. And they called me up one day and they said, you know, we have $8 ice cream that we can sell to the tourists and they don't even blink. But I have nothing to sell to the people who work on the island, the firemen, the policemen, the people who are working in the hotels, who are working in the kitchens. They can't even afford to come into my ice cream parlor. So I said, let's do ices. So now he's got something he could sell for $2. And he has now expanded his market to sell to more people. And where you are is what you call it. In New York, it's called Italian ice. In Philadelphia, it's called Italian water ice. Pretty much the same thing. Again, if I'm doing a arts and crafts fair, you know, paintings and sculptures and all that, I'm not going to sell Italian, you know, Luigi's Italian ice or Stefano Tomsini's Italian ice. I'm going to sell Stevens Sorbet, you know, upscale it a little bit and put it into a nicer, clear plastic cup. You know, the drinks you get, a scotch on the rocks at a cocktail party, and it's clear plastic. You put your sorbet in there, and it's a beautiful presentation. And you can get a higher price. But it's still all just sugar, water, and flavor. I keep checking it because I didn't put on a timer, and we'll discuss timers later. But I'm really big on sorbet. With this CB-350, I have put thousands, about 4,000 people into business who didn't have the money to get into a full-fledged ice cream parlor. And as you know already, banks aren't loaning you money, but you can get started with a batch freezer and a push cart and you've got a business. The other thing I started telling people back in January, and it's been wildly successful, is the Italian ice business, until I decided to, I was away from the Bronx and Brooklyn and a little bit safer, I could give away all their secrets, because when they talk about secret recipes from their great-great-grandfather from Genoa, Italy, that was me, or it was my father or my uncle. We were their great-great-grandfather, and we haven't been to Italy, and we're not Italian. But it's a very secretive business. Gee, I wish I could sell this. Well, you can't. It's from my great-great-grandfather. The better approach is to say, well, I'll tell you what. You call me on Tuesday and tell me how many tubs of mango you want, how many of cherry, how many lemon, and you come over to my place, my garage, on Friday and pick it up. Bring cash, no checks, no credit cards, no IOUs, no broken promises, just cash. And you take the ice, I'll freeze it down to 0 so it's rock hard, and you put it in your igloo cooler and you take it home to your chest freezer and you sell it this weekend at a park. Now, the only alternative that person has is to go to one of my big customers like Via Veneto, Little Jimmy's, Rosati. These are all people in the north. They have a minimum order of $1,000, which is about like this. It's so much ice that you have to go out and rent freezer space. Only Jeff owns enough freezers to take a minimum order from a Little Jimmy's. So it's not practical for them. But with that, with you, they can say, hey, I just need 4 tubs this weekend. Okay, that's looking very good. I'm going to turn off the refrigeration, and I'll get a spatula. Thank you, sir. And watch how fast this comes out. Sugar, water, and flavor. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that color. That's actually ready to go, but I would probably put it in the freezer, either to store it for days. But it's just that simple. And the formula is right at my website. So by all means, if you don't buy a machine from me, at least use my formulas. They're better than anyone's except Jeff's book, which he'll tell you about forever.
The new edition is just out.
Oh, okay. I want to show you something. People ask about the longevity of Italian ice. Let me go off camera here for a second. Just put those out of the way. I'm going to show you some Italian ice that I made 3 months ago using my Rainbow ice maker. I don't mean to sound like I'm shilling everything I own, but we do have the cups in the gift shop. That's 3 different flavors of Italian ice. You want to see that over here? That is a orange champagne. No, excuse me. That's a lemon champagne, strawberry, and blueberry, all using fresh fruit. Now look how good that is, and if you want to see it from the side, it's not falling apart in the least because it's at 10 below 0. So I don't need to put stabilizers in here. I don't need to put a lot of chemicals in. I just need to put it down to 10 below, which a Sears chest freezer for $500 will go to quite easily. So that's 3 months old. I could sell that tomorrow.
And why do we have the 3 flavors in the one tub?
Because I made something called a rainbow maker that divides it into 3. So you make one flavor. You would do it with about 4 tubs. You make one flavor, and then you'd make the next flavor, and then the next flavor, starting with light and working to dark, so that you don't have to keep rinsing the machine. So now when I scoop it,
So you have separator in it?
I had a separator in it.
You don't think he's good enough to do it precisely like that?
This is a broken up rainbow maker. The customer sent it back saying it got damaged in shipment. We studied it, we looked at it, we looked at the angles of the curves, and we figured out what he did. He wanted to divide the tub into 3 different flavors, so he put it into the machine and said the machine's going to make 3 flavors. I keep it because what a great story. But you can talk to Crystal. She sells these. But the point was not the rainbow maker right now. It was to show you that it will last a very long time. Cold is the best preservative you can do. If I'm making ice cream and I have to make it for Yankee Stadium, so I'm not going to make the greatest quality in the world, I just want cold, I'm going to throw in stabilizers, emulsifiers, all sorts of things to preserve it and you for the next 100 years. But you put those same stabilizers, which can be natural. They can be guar gum, a gum, and carrageenan, which is seaweed. You put chemical stabilizers into sugar water, and it comes out sticky and gummy. We've all eaten an Italian ice. If you've been around Italian ice, it is just almost pulley and taffy-like. That's horrible. This has no chemicals at all. Sugar, water, and flavor. And that's it.
How big is the container?
Well, I made a short batch, but it makes a 3-gallon tub like that. Problem, Ken?
What happens if you stick your tongue to the side of the thing?
Huh?
What happens if you stick your tongue to the side?
Yeah, okay. When are you leaving for Texas? Yeah, but normally I make it in a 3-gallon container. 2.5 or 3. So, come on up. I have not tried this. Let's see what it tastes like. You know, you came here thinking, oh, great, free food today. Well, by 2 o'clock, you're going to be sick of us.
We don't have scoops. We have these.
Yeah, spades. You just lop an amount in there.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks.
It's not bad. I might have gone with a little less flavor, a little less of the fruit.
Sammy, come here, girl.